Hey everyone! I just finished creating these VR hands for the game I'm working on, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to run you through my 3D workflow. So here it is, creating these VR assets from start to finish. Every model starts off with a concept, and I had some concept art created by Joseph Jansen in our original project pitch. This process begins in Maya, where I started a low poly model. Since this is an organic model, I will be doing most of my work in Zbrush, therefore I only needed to get the general forms of the hands in. It took me about 10 minutes. The next phase happens in Zbrush. This is where I completed the final shape for the glove and added the micro details such as the stitching and fingernails. Special thanks to Deanna Boyer for helping me out with this sculpt. Once we got the high poly to a point I was comfortable with, I exported it back to Maya. Since the mesh was around 5 million points, I needed to create a low poly mesh for performance reasons, which is standard in any 3D workflow. I used a combination of retopology tools in Maya and Zbrush to create this mesh for the hand, and quickly created the UVs. After I had completed the high and low poly mesh, it was time to transition over to Substance Painter to texture it. I wanted to match my ref as much as possible, and needed to create a new material for the gloved part of the hands, and I ended up with this. With the modeling and texturing done, I was able to move on to the final phase of the project, rigging and animation. This began by bringing my low poly mesh back into Maya, where I was able to drag the default Unreal hand mesh in order to seal its rig. Call me lazy, but this rapidly speeds up the progress. After I bound the rig to the hands, I needed to repaint the skin weights, because if I left them as is, well... After I was finished painting the skin weights, the last step in the process was placing them into Unreal and adding them to our player character. And that's how you make VR hands.